Welcome to BD Daily Tech News Podcast, your daily briefing on tech and innovation. It's 2026, February 23rd, and today's theme is, the internet is running into real-world limits: law, power, physics, and trust.
So we're doing 4 horsemen of the tech apocalypse: lawyers, electricity, quantum vibes, and vibes but evil. Great. I didn't even stretch.
Exactly. 4 stories, practical takeaways, and 0 stock tips. Let's start with the clearest signal that AI training data fights are going global. South Korean broadcasters suing OpenAI.
Korea said, "You can't just vacuum up our content like it's crumbs on the couch." And honestly, respect. What's the core of the lawsuit?
What happened? South Korean terrestrial broadcasters filed suit against OpenAI over AI training, content use, and rights. It's notable because it's described as the first lawsuit by Korean terrestrial broadcasters against a global AI company over content use.
Translation: We are not your free data set. Also, I love that every country is now speedrunning the same argument, just in different legal fonts.
Simple version of the tech: training a model is like teaching a super-fast intern by showing them millions of examples. The dispute is whether those examples, TV clips, transcripts, articles, were used with permission, and what transformative means when the output can compete with the original.
So it's like, I didn't steal your cookbook. I just memorized every recipe, and now I sell totally original lasagna. And the lasagna is suspiciously your lasagna.
Why it matters for normal people. This shapes what AI tools can legally offer in different regions. If licensing becomes mandatory at scale, you could see more paywalls, more geo-restrictions, or tiered AI products. Clean room models that cost more, and cheap models that have less capability or less coverage.
So the future is, this answer is not available in your country because the model owes someone money. Love that for us. What's the actionable move here, besides becoming a lawyer?
Actionable. If you build with AI, start documenting your data sources and vendor terms now. Assume audits later. If you're a creator or publisher, get your content fingerprinting and licensing posture ready. And as a user, treat AI summaries like a convenience layer, not a source of record. Keep the habit of clicking through to originals.
Okay, legal drama noted. Next up, the cloud is actually a bunch of buildings that drink electricity like it's a sport.
Story 2. The data center rush is creating an earnings windfall for power gear makers. Electrical equipment manufacturers are racing to meet demand for the crucial parts that connect data centers to power, record orders and bloated backlogs for the companies that can supply them.
So GPUs are the celebrities, but transformers are the bouncers. If the bouncers don't show up, nobody gets into the club.
Exactly. Simple tech version. You can buy all the compute in the world, but you still need to convert, step down, distribute, and protect power. Transformers, switchgear, breakers, and the grid interconnect. Think of it like building a restaurant. The fancy kitchen doesn't matter if you can't get gas, water, and permits.
And the permit office is like, sure, we can connect you in 18 months. Meanwhile, the AI team is outside with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and no electricity.
Why it matters: this is a constraint that hits everyone. Cloud prices, AI inference costs, and where data centers get built. If power gear is backlogged, capacity comes online slower, and the cheap compute era gets less cheap. For businesses, that means budgeting for higher cloud bills and prioritizing efficiency, smaller models, better caching, and workload scheduling.
Actionable for regular humans: if your favorite apps get more expensive, blame the boring metal boxes. Also, if you're career curious, it sounds like electricians, power engineers, and grid folks are basically the new rock stars.
That's a real takeaway. AI jobs aren't only prompt engineers. There's growth in infrastructure, power systems, cooling, facilities, reliability. If you're upskilling, look at cloud architecture plus energy literacy. Understanding power usage effectiveness, redundancy, and basic grid constraints makes you more valuable.
From electricity to quantum. Because if we can't get enough power, we'll just compute in a parallel universe. Problem solved.
Story 3. Finland's IQM Quantum Computers is set to go public through a merger with a blank check vehicle, a SPAC, expected to value it at $1.8 billion, according to the company's announcement.
I know we said no market talk, but I'm allowed one question. Does quantum frenzy continues mean we're actually close to useful quantum, or are we close to useful PowerPoints?
We can keep it tech-focused. Simple version. Quantum computers use qubits that can represent more complex states than classic bits, but they're fragile. Noise and error rates are the enemy. The near-term value is often in research partnerships, specialized experiments, and building the hardware and software stack, not replacing your laptop.
So it's like owning a race car that can theoretically hit 300 miles an hour, but right now it stalls if someone sneezes near it.
Why it matters for normal people. Quantum progress changes long-term security assumptions. Even before big quantum, the migration to post-quantum cryptography is a real, practical project for governments and companies. For developers, it's a signal to track standards and inventory cryptography dependencies, especially in products meant to last a decade.
Action item. Make a list of where your org uses crypto, and don't let "we'll fix it later" become "we can't log in anymore." Also, I love that the future threat model is basically time-traveling hackers, but with math.
Final story is about trust, specifically AI slop, and the uncomfortable point that platforms can't credibly complain while their incentives amplify it.
Yes, the timeline where your aunt shares a video of a doctor saying lemons cure everything, but the doctor is a blender with subtitles. What's the news hook?
What happened? Commentary argues that if big tech truly cared about fighting AI slop, it wouldn't be drowning users in it. It highlights the tension between public statements about authenticity and product systems that reward volume, engagement, and cheap content generation.
So the platform says, "We value authenticity," and the algorithm says, "That's cute." Anyway, here are 400 identical videos of a cat reviewing smartphones.
Simple tech version. Generative AI makes content production near zero marginal cost. When posting becomes cheap, the limiting factor becomes distribution, recommendation systems. If the system is optimized for watch time, it will often pick good enough content at massive scale, even if it's repetitive or misleading.
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet where the kitchen can print food, and the printer is set to nachos forever.
Why it matters. Trust becomes expensive. For normal people, it means more time verifying, more scams, and more reality friction. For creators, it means competing with spam volume and impersonation. For platforms, it's a long-term brand risk. If users assume everything is fake, engagement eventually decays.
Okay, give me the survival kit. I want actionable steps that don't require a PhD in spot the pixels.
3 practical moves. 1. Verify via source tracing. Find the first upload or a credible outlet, not just reposts. 2. Use friction. Pause before sharing, especially if it spikes emotion. 3. Harden accounts. Strong passwords, passkeys, or 2FA, because slop and scams travel together.
So today's lesson is the future isn't just smarter AI. It's contracts, transformers, qubits that hate sneezing, and your group chat learning to chill before forwarding.
Quick recap. Korea's broadcaster lawsuit shows content rights are tightening. Data centers are hitting power gear bottlenecks. IQM's SPAC underscores quantum momentum and the need to plan for post-quantum security. And AI slop is an incentives problem as much as a technology problem.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe and leave a comment with the one tech skill you're learning this year: data governance, cloud efficiency, or not getting emotionally catfished by the algorithm.
Thanks for listening to BD Daily Tech News Podcast. Share the episode, and we'll see you tomorrow for your daily briefing on tech and innovation.